His name is Temba. He comes from Langa. He came to score. He came to score. Came to score. Go Temba Babuma. He come from Langa and he played for the Proteas. What a great tune! I think Ashy P came up with it. Today I have a very special interview lined up. But before we get to that, I'm out here in my nets to record a short reel on hitting sixes for Fancode. You can see the reel on Instagram. It is to talk about the Hong Kong Sixes, a fascinating tournament of sixes with a unique set of rules. Six-a-side, so there are lots of gaps. All the guys in the fielding side must bowl an over. Also, we have the defending champion Sri Lanka. They will look to go back to back. But this tournament started way back in 1992 and South Africa's won it 5 times. The most alongside Pakistan and England, who have also won it 5 times each. It is the 21st edition of the tournament and you can watch all the games live on Fancode this weekend. Taking place from 7 till 9 November, so that's Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Jonty Rhodes was the player of the tournament when South Africa won it for the first time in 1995, one of my favourite legends. And speaking of South African legends, it is time to head back into the studio because I have got the captain with me today. I hope you enjoyed this interview. James, welcome to the 360 show. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us. First up, you seem like you're not at home. Where are you and where are you going?
Just got to the airport. I'm at the Emirates Lounge, waiting for the flight to India. So it's been a bit of a chaotic moment, a chaotic morning. But yeah, off to Bangalore.
Okay, that's quite early, right? Because I know the test matches are only starting a bit later. What's happening in Bengaluru?
I'll be joining the A team. I was to get there a couple of days early. It's been a while since I've been in the nets. Obviously been busy with my rehab since I got injured in early September. So yeah, I think it's just more to get acclimatized, get used to the heat in India, get used to the food as well. But yeah, just start feeling the whole vibe around cricket again.
Leading by example, putting the hard work in. There's lots of people that I played with back in the day that wouldn't have been so keen to go and play a warm up game, basically for to get ready for test matches. But it's great to see you as captain leading from the front after injury, being prepared to put in the hard yards. I heard your comments about selection policies and how you guys have changed your mindset around that. Can you tell me a little bit about that and where it started and what the plan is behind that?
I guess, I mean, we've all been in teams and we've all heard the phrase of, character over stats. All players need to have the stats. You won't be considered if you don't have the stats. But generally, there's certain character traits that kind of stick out in certain players. That I guess the decision makers kind of look at, within our team. I mean, if I look at the team now currently, and I compare it to when I made my debut under you guys, under Hash, Dale Steyn. I mean, those are guys who are legends of the game, right? If you look at the team now, probably barring KG, all of us are competitive in our own ways. So we've needed other resources to be able to make us a lot more competitive as a unit. And character was the one thing that we identified, and that's something that we've kind of been very intentional about. And it generally just centers around playing for the guy next to you, backing the guy that on his day he can do it what he needs to do for the team, and then individually guys having the desire to make the play for the team or be the man for the moment. So it really just centers around that, and it's never an easy process to maybe overlook a certain guy who's averaging 45 or 50 and looking at another guy who's averaging 40, but from a character point of view, from a team's perspective, it gives you so much. So I think also with a guy like Shukri, who's quite unorthodox, but also bold in the way that he does stuff. It's made it a lot easier to be able to make decisions like that. And I think decisions like that, when they're made, there has to be a sense of backing for the players, which we've seen. There've been guys who've performed, there've guys who haven't been performed, but even during their non-performances, the guys have still been backed because of what they know we're capable of doing. So yeah, I feel it's serving us quite well at this point in time. The road is still long for us, a team, but yeah, I think we're reaping the rewards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do like that thinking, and I've always had a lot of respect for players with character, playing with those kind of players, and also against. You can immediately feel when you're up in a battle against a guy with a bit of resilience and character. They're just harder to sort of penetrate in a way. WTC lifting that trophy at Lords, I was there to experience that incredible day.
Reina does the honours, and South Africa make history. The ultimate test, the ultimate result for the Proteas.
What a turnaround! I mean, against all the odds, we went and won that against a formidable side in Australia. We had our backs up against the wall throughout the Test match and found a way to turn that around. Just emotions from that Test match, your journey to there, and coming back in the reception here at home, and to sort of realize the impact you guys had on this country's cricket. Just what goes through your head?
I think it's exactly that, Abbas. It's around finding a way. And I think our journey getting to that point has largely been that, right? I mean, if I look at the way our Test Championship started, going to New Zealand, it was far from ideal. And then from that series, we pretty much won every series, and we won every game that we had to play. As the journey, as the championship went along, the belief and confidence in each other kind of grew. As you would understand, that's what winning does. And I think by the time we got to Lords, as much as we understood the enormity of the task coming up against Australia. I mean, Australia have been one of what has been the top nations the last couple of years. You look at the experience in their side. They've been in those positions. You look at our team. Yes, we have the experience of being in those type of positions in finals and semi-finals, but we don't have the experience of going over the line. So, there was a lot of introspection that we had to do as a team, having to deal with whatever scars, whatever there is from the past, but really just staying true and clear to what we need to do to be victorious. And I mean, yeah, like you said, we were the underdogs going into that final. That wasn't lost on us. But I think in true South African fashion, we're always gonna fight. We're always gonna fight till the end. And I think the game in itself was a proper game for any cricketing fan, any sporting fan, right? Day one, we were in the game, bowling first. Day two, we were under pressure. We conceded a lead. Day three, conditions changed. It got a bit better for batting, and like in sport, you need that luck, right? Batting conditions were better for us, and between Aiden and myself, the opportunity was there, and we took it upon ourselves to make sure we take the team home. So, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened in our favor, but it is also a testament to all the good work that we did getting to that point. And I think, I mean, people see obviously the end result, but I think even getting to the final, Abbas, there were a lot of stories leading into the final. Personal stories. You had the coach. He'd suffered the loss of his father. You had Ashwell. He'd suffered the love of a loved one. You had KG with his whole saga. So there was quite a lot happening within the team, but that was enough to kind of bring us together. And really get us into a space where we wanted to do something special, not just for the country, but really truly for each other. Coming back to South Africa, yeah, that was unbelievable for me. Getting to the airport, probably close to thousands of people who were there, seeing people from all walks of life showing you appreciation, old people crying, little kids running around. Yeah, that was incredible. It gives me a bit of goosebumps thinking about it. But I mean, we always speak about how sport, is a force to unite people. I truly got a proper sense of that.
Yeah, and it impacts everyone. I had my boys there, ages 8 and 10, and their lives are changed forever. Literally, I never thought I would sit on the side of a cricket field and actually enjoy the game as a spectator. I won't forget. On day 3, we went for lunch. We decided we're not going to watch day 3, and we'll come back at day 4 again. We went for lunch, and halfway through lunch, I just had a steak on my table. They're about to dig in, and I looked at the scores, and I've been tracking, and I told the guys, listen, we might have to go back. I've got a funny feeling something is brewing. And we got back, and I mean, Vian Mulder and Lungi Ngidi started getting some pivotal wickets there, and we literally experienced this whole Test match like get turned on his head. And I told the guys, I don't care what lead they get you, we're going to chase it down. I've just got this. That's what South Africa is all about. Anyway, James, well done with that once again. That's something of the past now. We look at the WTC now. Pakistan was a big challenge. India will be maybe even a bigger challenge. But looking at the Pakistan 2 test matches, obviously great character show there. From a personal point of view, I think if you play in the sub, you have to take your catches. That's one area we'll have to maybe focus on. You don't get another chance if you let those catches go. And secondly, the top order will have to score the bulk of the runs, especially if we win the toss on a good wicket and we bat first. What are your thoughts around Pakistan, the lessons taken? KG, for example, not being the guy who always supposed to score the runs, scoring those amazing runs at the back end. Sen also, lots of guys came to the party in unorthodox ways, ending up drawing 1-1, which could be crucial in what will be a very difficult schedule. But lessons taken from Pakistan, and how can we apply and sort of rectify some of the mistakes we made in India?
I guess we suffered the old issue of ours on starting series is slow. I mean, if we had played the way we played in the second test as the first one, I think the results could have been different. But that could have just been the fact that we haven't played for the longest of time from in terms of test cricket and a couple of new faces. But I totally agree with you. If you look at Pakistan, a couple of their top order batters, they managed to get in, but guys didn't really go on to score your big
Yeah.
your big scores. And I think something for India would be exactly that. The guys who go in to get a 50, 60, we need to try and get 130, 140 type of scores because we've seen the Indian batters in their conditions. That's what they do, right? So I think that will be the challenge there. I think the spinners came into the game very nicely in the second test. Obviously, the addition of Kesh, would have made a big difference. And I think from what I saw from Kesh was his ability to consistently target the stumps. And that's generally been my experience of facing the Indian spinners, is that they always generally bring in the stumps in. So I guess
Mm.
that'll be something that we'd probably carry on a lot more. And I think, yeah, that performance, in the second test, losing the toss,
Mm.
but still managing to win the game. I think that's a big feather in our cap to carry. We know it's tough in the subcontinent
Mm.
when you are bowling first. So for us to be still able to exact the result, even though we were on the back foot per se, will do a lot of confidence. So
Mm.
yeah, when I meet the guys, we'll be sharing ideas. I'm sure I'll be chatting to Aiden, KG, and the likes to see what other lessons there are. But I think at the moment, a lot of confidence that we can take. Decent start to the campaign as well.
Mm.
Like you said, it's going to be a tough one. There's a lot more subcontinent tours to it, so we'll be challenged in ways that we're not necessarily accustomed to.
Now, all the best over there, Thames. Before we move on to the next topic, which will be quick, by the way, I know you're almost boarding the plane. We're just going to dig into the past a little bit, but all the best with your tour to India. I truly believe you guys have what it takes to go and win there. Hold on to those catches. With you back in the top order, I think it will help stabilize that top order a bit and just bring a bit of calmness, which will be fantastic. So all the very best. Thames, just going back to the past quickly for the last couple of minutes. His name is Temba. He comes from Langa. He came to score. He came to score. Came to score. Temba Babuma. He come from Langa and he played for the Proteas. What a great tune! I think Ashy P came up with it. Take me through Langa back in the day. I know you had played in the streets there. There were cracks on there. It was called Karachi, the street. Reminds me of my upbringing. We also had names for our little games that we played, of the parks that we played at. Take me back to Langa and what it means to you to have grown up there and how it changed your character or got you to where you are today.
I was born and grew up in Langa, small township in Cape Town. I grew up in a family that was sports mad, community as well that was sports mad. I played pretty much any sport that had to do with the ball. I guess us being kids, just enjoying ourselves, just escaping from whatever reality that was around us. We played cricket, street cricket. We dreamed whatever we saw on TV. We tried to emulate around us. There was a street that was done quite nicely. We used to call it Lords. The other side of the street, that one wasn't done too well. And based on what we used to see on TV back then, we called it Karachi because the ball hits a pothole or a crack, it acted a bit funny. So those are the memories that I kind of have, myself and my friends. My friends actually reminded me just before the World Cup, when we were talking about the World Cup final and what it means. And they were kind of, saying that, Chiefs, out of all of us, you're the one that made it. We were all talented, but just fortunate for me because I had the opportunities, the support system around me, the schooling and all of that. I was able to have a proper chance. At realizing my potential. So yeah, Langa, the community, very close to my heart. My family is still there as well, so I try go there as much as I can. But yeah, a lot of pride in the place, and what it's done for me. Coming out of those type of environments, a lot of adversity that you have to deal with. But I think that experience helps you to deal with other adversity, other setbacks later on in your life. My cricket journey, there's been highs, but there's been a lot of lows. And I guess the lessons that I've learned from a younger age has allowed me to kind of deal with things as gracefully and with as much humility as I can.
Thames, I've heard you speak about going up on a mountain in December. I think it's got something to do with your culture, and you talk about how you connected with respect. You sort of challenged yourself a bit. I think there was you spoke about family and also your culture. Just talk me, if you don't mind, if it's not uncomfortable, about this ritual or what is it about the mountain that you went up to do?
My culture is Xhosa. I guess boy at that time is to go through a initiation ritual when you come of age between 18 and 21, where loosely say you go to the mountain. And up at the mountain, as I say, it's an initiation rite, and where you're going from being a boy into a man. And there are certain rituals, there's certain practices, there's certain tests or challenges that you have to overcome. It's quite tough, but the more important thing is the lessons that you get with that whole experience. It's about a month-long experience, and essentially you're coming to understand who you are as a person, right? Where you come from, what makes you who you are, and essentially what it means to be a man. It is a controversial practice, considering the modern times and how there's a need or call for certain things to kind of keep with the times. I'm not going to get into that conversation, but the lesson that I took from it was the fact that we all endure pain, right? We all endure hardship, but it's through all of that enduring that you really tend to understand who you are. And then it's about enduring all of that, being stoic through it all. We are told not to complain, but to endure what we are enduring, but still make sure that we keep moving forward, not just for ourselves, but for our loved ones and the people around it. So I underwent that years ago. That initiation rite of passage happens in June as well as in December. So in December, where generally I'm free, I'll also go to the mountain, and then you'll also go and impart whatever values and lessons that you have on the younger dudes who are coming up. So yeah, I'm very attuned to my culture. As much as I've grown up, going to Sachs College and St. David's and learning the Western way of doing things, I've always try to keep a balance by still staying attuned to my culture. And that's how I'd like to raise my child or kids in the future. I think it keeps you grounded, Abbas. It keeps you. It doesn't allow you to kind of float with all the fame and everything that is happening around you. Yeah, it keeps you grounded.
Yeah, I think it's actually incredibly unique, the South African cricket team, with so many different cultures. It takes obviously a great leader or leaders to instill all these cultures and to make it move into one direction. And I think with you and Shukri there, we're in really good hands with that, because it can only be a great strength if you find the respect and the best out of every culture to combine. Last but not least, I'm going to finish off with this, Thames. Your name is written in the history books and no one can ever take that away from you. First black African captain to lead the Proteas. The word that comes to mind is legacy. It's a word that comes with great responsibility. It can be a burden sometimes, but also an amazing privilege. How do you see your legacy and what kind of impact you can leave behind here in cricket for South Africa?
I think, to be honest with you, Abbas, that's been my biggest motivation. I think I came to terms early on in my career that I wouldn't be able to be seen in the same light as all the other legends that have come about from a batting point of view. Growing up, I always wanted to be a guy that goes on to score 10,000 test runs. I think I'll have to play for another 10 years to have a proper shot at that. But I think from a leadership point of view, I saw an opportunity there to be a leader, to do something that hasn't been done within our cricketing space. And I mean, that's been my biggest drive, my biggest motivation through everything that has happened. I'm 35. I still like to keep going for as long as I can, but I think now it's more about just enjoying my cricket, and playing with a lot less pressure, if that's even possible at an international level. But yeah, I just want to enjoy, I guess, the last couple of years, whatever comes about through it, let it come about. But yeah, I think I'll let the story continue to write itself.
Themba Bavuma, he comes from Langa. Thanks, bud. I really appreciate your time. And safe flight to India. All the best with that series over there. We are absolutely right behind you guys and can't wait to go and watch you guys create more history in the future. You're definitely on the right track.
Thank you, Abbas. Really appreciate it, man.
Even if you move around a bit, it's fine. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Okay, I know you don't have much time, so we're gonna get into it straight away. The audio is good, everything is good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. It's a bit chaotic here.
The airport traveling is like my bud. Absolute chaos.